Never forget what you had desired to receive from the souls who had chosen to remain within the freedom and light as you had traveled through the blindfolded darkness of the realms of Malkuth. When your blindfold is removed, as your physical body dies, and you ascend the darkness and return again into the light from which it was created from the essence of your oversoul, use the vehicle of your ego soul that you have chosen to retain and its newfound awareness of being able to transcend the confines of time and space to build more joyous, more meaningful, and more luminous realities within the infinitely expanding body of Christ. Do this by descending your awareness to the past and using the past as a foundation for the creation of these new realities. Become the embodiment of the ideals you had once held as God to that which is less aware than you now find yourself as, Dane. Remember that you had once been in their blindfolded state of awareness and had desired truth from the souls within Christ's body who were in a greater state of awareness than you were. Remember that truth mixed with falsehoods is not truth, but pure light purposefully distorted by colors of lies and deceit. Never bring that to the less aware parts of Christ evolving below, for their essence is His own. Christ blindfolded, groping in a less aware state of awareness, reaching for the light that has been purposefully placed out of its reach by those who bask in a higher state of light and freedom. Be the beacon of pure light, compassion, freedom, love void of indifference to that which is less aware. Never compound the darkness below with more darkness. Never bring harm to any part of the self that you truly are beyond the illusion of duality. Remember daily that the self found within the heart of every human is who you truly are. Your ego of Dane is but a mere fragment, a mere expression of your true self that encompasses the body of Christ, and that which exists and evolves both above and below it, including its ever infinitely expanding parallels. All without and beyond your spectrum of awareness is what you are. Never create within its seeds that may bring harm, pain, or the darkness of self-awareness to any part of the self within your ego soul, or that which it perceives to surround it. All you see is one, and that one is your true self, of which you are both realizing and creating. Harm none, yet also understand that other souls within the self you are may not choose to be the embodiment of the ideals you have chosen to embrace. Do not allow this understanding to cause a judgment that could possibly obscure the reality that they are of equal holiness, divinity, and of worth as you are. They are as well. Do not allow the knowledge of their embodiment and expression of differing ideals to obscure your own awareness of their infinite worth to the self of which you share with them. For in judging another to be less holy, less divine, or of less worth, you are denying the truth of the light of Christ that radiates from them. They are of Christ as well, a part of Christ that should have an equal opportunity to evolve in its own uniqueness and according to its own ideals and how it chooses to reflect the light it is, worlds without end. Nevertheless, in honoring the ideals other souls may hold and embody, do not relent in embodying your own ideals, nor accommodate your ideals for another's sake, even if your ideals may conflict with another and cause another individual soul a perception of pain. Never relent, because the embodiment of your first ideal is to not bring pain or harm to the self. In the end, their momentary pain is but an expression of the release of pain the self experiences as you embody your own ideal of bringing light, freedom, and joy to that which is less aware. An analogy. Remember that a slave owner may find temporary pain as its slaves are released into a greater state of freedom, but that momentary pain is nothing compared to the joy, freedom, and the light experienced by the freedom of slaves for generations yet unseen or realized. Put the self first, for the self that emerges and is created within the Amen is who you truly are. Forgive the past experiences or creations of other souls that conflict with their present ideals of who they are or desire to become. Remember that non-forgiveness of another soul is the same as assigning that other to the past and a refusal to see it as it is becoming of who it is. No soul is exactly the same at any given moment, but is endless in the state of becoming and evolving. No soul has In not extending a complete forgiveness to another, you are immersing your own understanding of who the other is into obscurity and darkness. Remember continuously that every interaction you create with the past creates a whole new future that may evolve into realities beyond your own spectrum of awareness. Be the part of God above to that which is below that you had desired to experience and know. Show the parts of God below how to call out to you and how to receive from you that which they desire. Show them how to ask and how to receive. Do not be an indifferent observer of the past. Care for the past as you would a child who suffers in darkness and cold. Continuously reach beyond your spectrum of awareness for a greater state of enlightenment from that which exists within the self that will endlessly be beyond your own level of light, awareness, and evolution of self-realization. But never forget that the future of the self, that future you interact with and reach out to, may not be evolving in the same embodiment of ideals that you are. Do not assume that it has or is, for the embodiment of your ideals is being created within the self by you and has not yet been created at each moment. The endlessly expanding futures that coexist with your present are created by other realities within the body of Christ, and those parallel realities may be evolving with your own, charting their own course of evolution with different ideals. Do not judge those ideals as bad or evil. Nevertheless, remember that it is not your own ego's future you are interacting with in calling out to the more aware parts of the self. Your own future is always yet to be created. During your interactions with the parts of Christ evolving below your own level of self-awareness, never use any form of punishment. These parts below choose to use their own innate free will to embody ideals that you may not have chosen to embrace and manifest within your own soul's ego. Honor the evolution of that which is below you. Never consciously withhold your assistance in bringing to that which is below the light, joy, or compassion you can bring to it, even if it chooses to evolve and embrace different ideals. Bring it no harm, no pain, no darkness, but allow it to evolve as it chooses by never finding its creations within the self to be offensive or unworthy. For can you truly ever be offended or harmed? No. Do not choose to find offense in something that has no literal offense within it, for in doing so you are embracing a falsehood and not an absolute truth. Never use your own soul's innate ability to create another ego's soul from its own essence for your own ego's gratification. Never procreate a separate ego from the essence of Christ and then seek to bring to it what you would not want for your own self. Should you choose to use your own Christ-given procreative abilities, bring to the other you create the freedom, joy, and the light and the love that you too experience. Embody the ideal that anything less is an abuse of Christ's essence and brings pain and sorrow to the self you are beyond time and space. Embody the ideal of non-killing. The embodiment of this ideal takes on two forms. Never use your own free will to shift a lesser aware aspect of Christ's body into a higher state of awareness against its will. In doing so, you are interfering in the other's choices on how the other chooses to evolve in his own creations. Nevertheless, if another, less aware aspect of Christ calls out to you for assistance in helping it to ascend into a greater state of freedom and awareness that it cannot do for itself, assist the one below to find the freedom and release it desires as it calls out to you by name. In bringing to the other this freedom, the self you are beyond time and space rejoices in the experience of that other's newfound freedom and joy. Never use another ego's soul's ignorance